What's going on, y'all? So this is going to be an interesting video. This is about Reforge Gaming coping hard, and he's trying to call people liars. But what I find funny is how disingenuous he's being with Sony not realizing that they need to go to PC because they need to make more money. Single player games are too expensive. He basically, what I like to call, tries to guilt trip, gaslight people into believing that the statements that they're saying is wrong when everybody knows this is true. He's just such a Sony balls licker. I have to admit it. Um, After seeing everything that I saw, now I 100% can see why Alex roasts him sometimes. Said he's funny to laugh at. He reminds me of Jimmy Neutron, like he's in some Nickelodeon cartoon. When I look at him, I kind of see that. But in this video, we're going to highlight some things that are very important and talk about some things that are actually factual from this end and call out his bullshit. So, like, I'm just gonna let me know what y'all think. All right, let's roast this dude.
Yet most PlayStation owners don't buy those exclusives. 98% are not buying Astro Bot. Yeah, see, you're playing this weird cherry pick stat war. Which
What do you mean? I explained it in my recent video too, that that's the only game that was the game of the year that did not sell millions. All the rest of them sold over 10 plus million, some 20 to 30 million. It's pretty obvious that it was money had it. Black Myth Wukong was a better game for game of the year. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a better game for game of the year. Metaphor was a better game for game of the year. It required way more talent and development, and they're actually in their own ballpark. They're not 80% of a game like Astro Bot is mostly Mario. You know what I mean? A bunch of Marios blended together. Not that it's not a good game. It's an awesome platformer, but it was no game of the year. It was platformer of the year, yes.
which is incredibly stupid and a waste of time. It's about list wars? No, it's not. You don't understand the industry that you're talking about. You got that stat from some grifting fan fiction bleed green podcaster.
Sony said it sold 1.5 million. That was around 65 or 70 million PlayStations people owned at the time. Obviously, not all of them are on, but 1.5 million is not that impressive for Game of the Year. Even Sony exclusives that won Game of the Year before, like Last of Us, whatever, would sell 10 to 12, 13, 14 million. That game didn't need, they're forcing it now in a bundle. What is he talking about? Dude, just admit that it didn't sell and PlayStation users don't support their games.
Like, Astro Bot won multiple Game of the Year awards and was listed by Hiroki Totoki himself as a success that is motivating them to do more family-oriented games.
They're just trying to copy what Nintendo is doing. Everybody knows it. Like, it's like, with him, is like he just regurgitates and respins the PR bullshit.
You don't know what you're talking about. If you're going to claim that those games were a failure or that those games are a joke because...
It's not that the game didn't fail, but commercially as a game of the year, for a game of the year game, that commercially that's a failure. Because every other game of the year in history has sold tens of millions of copies. And it shook the whole world and everybody couldn't wait to play it. That's the only game that didn't do that historically. Why is it the first time that's ever happened? Because something's off there.
You know, there's 70-something million PlayStations in circulation and only this percentage of the people bought them, then every game that hits PC is an abysmal failure because there's way more users on PC. Way more. What are the ratio of sales of games that hit PC to the number of PC users on Steam?
He says that there's more Steam players than there is PlayStation players? That's not true. They just gave you their monthly active users the other day. Everybody that owns a PC doesn't game. That right there is funny that he's trying to compare that, which you don't get a PC for first party. There's no such thing. It's not being sold as a console. He's trying to defend Sony so much that he's being an idiot.
What's the ratio? It's terrible according to your logic, not mine.
There's no first party on PC to compare. And actually, what's so funny, if you really want to play that game, most people that are on Steam are playing Steam games. Every single day for years, consistently, nonstop. I'm actually about to shoot his own logic back at him. Every day it's Steam games, Counter-Strike and Dota. Every day there's millions of people playing this game. Every single day, the tournament's still going on. Their first party is dominating. It used to be for Xbox, when you got on, you were playing Halo and Gears. Nintendo, you get on and play Nintendo games. Sega, back then, you were playing Sega games. So what is he talking about? There's not that many games that Valve makes that are coming from Valve that aren't Valve on here. And when they do, they go to the top. And they support it. They play it all day. So what are you talking about, bro?
Check sales versus available consoles. Yeah, checkmate. Check sales versus available users on Steam. You lose.
No, he's wrong because a lot of people on Steam play Valve games. Even though they're not new, they're still played a lot. A lot of people on PlayStation are playing third-party games. And PC is pretty much third-party, but they do have exclusives on Valve that were made there, but it's not a first-party platform. Like you could say, I bought this and this is the first one. How? It's not a console. You know what I mean? That's stupid. You could tell that he's getting worked up too because somebody is telling him the truth about Sony, and he has to be such a Sony rainbow canceled ball licker that he has to defend him. He cannot just give this guy credit for just things that everybody basically knows. Astro Bot did not commercially succeed. They're only saying that because that's PR. Dude, stop being an ass licker.
You lose. Your logic doesn't work.
No, you're being a loser and you're lying.
Don't measure the success of games against what you're doing. It's only something that grifting liars do because it's a convenient way to denigrate games that win awards and sell tons of copies.
Dude, it's money. Like, you see this stuff right here? This guy is such a corporate shill, it's not even funny.
And keep cranking out new versions of themselves, whether it's a sequel or a remaster. Do you want to know why they can do that? They can do that because they've been successful. You would never argue.
Instead of realizing that Sony's launch remasters because they don't have anything else to do. Dude, you are so full of shit, it's not even funny.
That these games are a failure because, well, look how many available Steam users there are, and look how many copies it sold. Failure. That game sucked.
What Steam game, though? What Steam game are you talking about? He's not lying. Like, you know, the only Steam games are very few, and they're from Valve because Steam is made by Valve. So what is he talking about? I don't understand why he's bringing that. Like, that's a stupid comparison. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That game didn't do well. You only, and I mean only, use this argument against PlayStation. I've never seen it.
Bullshit. People were sitting there dumping on Xbox for 10 years talking about their sales are so bad that Microsoft started hiding their sales. I'm telling you right now, this guy's full of it. This is why I'm coming to check him. I would like to see him challenge me. I'll beat him because I don't lose.
Somebody make this argument against Xbox or Steam or even...
Man, this dude is a goddamn liar. You know how long for 10 straight years the PlayStation base was bashing the Xbox because the sales were not doing so well. Microsoft started hiding their numbers because Sony's numbers were better than Nintendo came and did the same thing to them, but way worse, and Sony started hiding their numbers. Are you kidding me? People have been talking about Microsoft's only reporting players because their sales are not selling and the ratio is not doing well. Dude, really? I thought that he would be you have a little bit more integrity than that.
Nintendo. It's only against Steam. Astro Bot did not sell tons of copies.
It didn't.
It sold tons of copies for what it set out.
Oh my God, bro. Talk about coping, y'all.
To do. See, what you do is you think every game has to be Marvel Rivals, or you think every game has to be great.
It's game of the year. It's supposed to sell millions. Everybody knows this is the only game that's never done that. Baldur's Gate showed a shit ton. What, 15 million? More now? Zelda, Breath of the Wild, 30-something plus million. Every other game, 10, 15 million.
Grand Theft Auto. And if they don't hit those thresholds, it's a failure. It's like a team of like 40 or 50 people made a game that sold over 1 million copies. It jumped on the sales charts in December. It was in the top 10.
Dude, no matter what you say, it still sold 1.5 million. You see what he's trying to do?
In
Don't fall
November
for it.
and December because it won Game of the Year. A single platform game that was deemed a failure was in the top 10. Let me ask you something.
It sold 1.5 million.
If Astro Bot was a failure and didn't sell well, then you just argued that all those games in the top 20 for December, everything beneath it was a failure. That's
a lie because those games could have sold a lot before that, and they're just not selling as much now.
Do you have any idea what you're saying?
Do you have any idea what you're saying? Yeah, try that on me. He's just picking on people.
Helldivers would have failed if it wasn't on PC carrying it. Yeah. See, what you're doing is you're expressing a lot of...
Just admit that PC carried Helldivers 2, and that's very true. It sold like almost 70% of the sales, and most of the success came from PC. What's so hard about saying, for the most part, most of it success did come from PC, because Helldivers 1 didn't do that? I don't understand what's so hard about admitting that and giving credit somewhere else, instead of just over-defending Sony and having their dick in your mouth.
dissatisfaction with the choices that
and
you've
elsewhere.
made, and you're coping with those choices and your own disappointment
Yo, lick the balls,
by
bro.
just repeating and parroting thoughtless fan fiction drivel from Bleed Green fan fiction podcasts. You're not saying anything original. You don't even think the things that you're typing. It's just a way to make yourself feel better about your bad choices. I see through you all the way to your bones. I know exactly what you're doing. You're unhappy and you want to make it.
It sounds like you're unhappy that he's calling out Sony's bullshit. That's pretty funny, man, because I own everything, you know what I mean? And I have a high-end gaming PC. I've been gaming for 32 years. I beat all the games. I'm about to have my 56 Platinum on PlayStation, you know what I mean? I'm working on 100, I'm working towards 125,000 gamer score on Xbox. I beat all Nintendo games, you know what I mean? I'm playing all the newest games on my high-end PC, and I'm thinking about getting a 5000 series. And what I find funny is, and the reason why Sony is the way they are is because people like this and people that are blind and the blind leading the blind.
Seem as though everything PlayStation has done is a failure. They just keep
We're just telling you that it didn't succeed like it should have for a game of the year. And everybody knows that it was not the real game of the year. It's pretty obvious.
out revenue report after revenue report that they're crushing it. They're getting new users and their games are successful. And you're like, yeah, but if you actually pit Astro Bot against the number of available PlayStations, and if you actually backflick logically and ignore rest of industry standards for measuring success, and if the game wouldn't have been on PC, Helldivers 2 would have failed. Like, it doesn't, what you're saying.
I don't know if it wouldn't have failed, but it wouldn't have sold nowhere near that much. It would have been a success for Helldivers coming from Helldivers 1 and 2 because they never had that type of success. That was just way too much for them. They couldn't even handle it. They didn't even know what was going on.
It doesn't make sense. What you're saying does not make sense. You're just repeating fan fiction talking points from liars. They say that stuff because they need their audience to be satiated and feel like everything's going to be okay. PlayStation.
That's what you're doing for Sony, bro. And everybody knows that the only thing they got moving for them is hardware. That's it.
It's not that great, guys, right? PlayStation's not doing that great, guys, right?
It's not.
It doesn't sound genuine or real.
Who's in a fiction? You really are in a Nickelodeon episode, bro, every day.
What do you care about how well Helldivers did on PC versus PlayStation? Why does that matter to you?
He's really disturbed, you can tell.
I played 80 hours on my PlayStation and had a blast. What do I care if there were more players on PC? I don't care about that.
This type of stuff matters for metrics of success of what you want to do next in the industry, how you want to make your moves. Dude, don't play that game.
More power to Arrowhead, more money to Arrowhead, more funding for future content for me, more future funding for new Helldivers stuff or a sequel like Helldivers 3.
Yeah, I'm glad Arrowhead succeeded. I like them.
I find it to be weird and almost embarrassing to watch alleged gamers constantly talk about good, award-winning, highly praised games as if they're failures. It's embarrassing. It's like, what are you doing?
We're talking about the base. They didn't support the game. It was supposed to be game of the year. Why didn't they at least sell 4 to 5 million? I mean, come on, man. At least 3 million, right? You know what I mean? No. We all know it was money had it. What do you have glasses for?
Next, you're going to tell me that Kendrick's overrated and the Eagles aren't any good.
Nobody cares about that, bro. Let's keep going. That's an irrelevant statement.
Sony used to promise games like Spider-Man would never go to PC. When did they ever promise that? Can you quote me? Who said that and where and when? Only reason they're moving to PC is not enough people bought it. False. Untrue. And not what.
There he goes again. Damage control for Sony. Marvel Spider-Man 2 needs to sell 7.2 million copies at full price to break even. Has a colossal budget of 300 million. The game recently just hit 10 million. And why'd they have the PC port? If you're doing so well, why do you need PC, right? Nintendo's not going to do it because they don't need it. They make more profit than anybody by a mile. Their operating profit is insane. So what are we talking about? It needs to sell to break even. It means after they need to say million, they need to sell millions to try to build up that budget again. Guys, to break even, they needed to sell 7.2 million.
What they told their shareholders. Hey, it's Chill Will with the Member Plus. Welcome back in, bumping us to 738. And I remember renewal from Big Evil, 25 months. Just got a new monitor for the Pro. Currently playing Kingdom Come Deliverance and having a ball. Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance.
We're not done. Just I'm about to get him even more.
Man, I want mod support on PlayStation so bad. I am totally mod begging. I'm 100% mod begging.
And he has a PC, but he wants the mods to be on PlayStation because he wants to play a game on lower settings on a console, and he can play them on Max on a PC and have the mods right now. This is how you know somebody is a pony and a fanboy. Oh my god. You have the PlayStation in your hand on your PC.
Didn't they just cancel 10 day-and-date PC games? Nice, Craven. They literally, like, let me just explain something to you. Because again, you're just listening to liars. Spider-Man did not come to PC because they didn't sell enough copies.
It's not coming to PC because they don't want more profit, y'all. And PlayStation is not good enough. Okay. Oh my god. Sean Lincoln right here. The rising cost of developing high-budget single-player games is becoming unsustainable. Meaning the price of these games may be too high for some players. Single-player games now cost so much, which is why you need to buy remasters so PlayStation can keep investing in new great games, according to EX Sony president. Did you see what he just said? I joke about Herman Host sometimes making too many remasters. I think people who complain about that were making Herman is doing instead of doing something new. But I'm sure these remakes are made by a dedicated different team or some porting teams, especially to PC versions. So I think he's sacrificing anything by doing it. That's not always true. Rockstar took the development of the GTA trilogy remaster, right? From Groove Street Games, even removing the studio's name from the game's splash screen. Yeah, we remember when that happened. Yoshida goes on to explain the reasoning behind all the remakes we see these days. Because single-player games now cost so much, they need additional income by doing remasters and what? Porting to PC. Remasters and ports are much cheaper to produce, create additional revenue, and create new users to the IP, especially when you port the game to PC. What happened, Reforge? Who's full of shit and who's lying? Straight from the guy of PlayStation right here.
The number of copies that Spider-Man sold on PC pales, and I mean pales, in comparison to the total number of Spider-Man copies sold. You know what's funny?
Dude, you are a fucking moron. It was exclusive on PlayStation for years. That's the only place to get it. If I launch it somewhere later, why would it sell more? The point is to get that extra cheap profit. Because it doesn't cost that much. That has to be the most moronic statement I've seen him make. Dude, stop kissing Sony's ass because it makes you look like an idiot in front of the world. You just have a whole bunch of sheep that follow you that are falling for this bullcrap. But I'm here to call you out. You're funny, but in this video, I have to say you are being a complete and utter moron.
You seem to be really, really sharp with the numbers, right?
Apparently, you're not.
You're like, well, Astro Bot only sold to this percentage of the available PlayStation 5 consumer base. Okay, well, crank these numbers. Look at the total number of Spider-Man copies sold for the franchise historically. Spider-Man 1, Miles, and Spider-Man 2. Look at the total number of sales. And then look at the percentage of how many of those were sold on PC.
That is one of the most intellectually dishonest statements I've seen him make. When something is exclusive on another platform for 2 to 3 years and it's sold on that exclusively, and then you put on another platform later on, and then you try to compare the sales on that platform compared to that when they weren't day and day, how about look at the sales of Helldivers Day 1 on PC compared to the sales of Helldiver Day 1 on PlayStation? What happened, bro? You got smoked by 70%. That's more of an honest statement, y'all. What I don't like is that fake ass shit right there. And I'm calling you out on it. Now you got somebody that's smarter than you hovering over you. I hope you look at this video. Come challenge me. I'll put you right in your place. I will never lose to somebody like you. You're a corporate ass licker. That's what I got to say about this guy right here. 100%. Absolutely ridiculous.
And then do your little crunched math that you just did, and you absolutely
do the crunch math I just said.
Absolutely repudiate your claim that they brought those games to PC because they didn't sell enough.
Well, that's why I already gave you all that proof right there. making him look dumb. Because he's trying to bully this person right here and whoever else is in the audience that is kind of subject to his little craft, but that's not going to work over here. It's not going to work in the sun.
Like, you seem to be really quick to talk about how, like, well, the percentage of people who bought Astro Bot versus the percentage of people who own PS5s, that's a failure. Well, you've just repudiated your own claim that, well, they brought Spider-Man, they're bringing these games to PC because they don't sell enough. The difference is staggering.
Why isn't Nintendo going to PC?
The number of copies of Spider-Man sold on PC versus the console is staggering. It's
unbelievable. He's still regurgitating this nonsense when the time windows and launch windows are totally different. Understanding what a user base wants to. That's absolutely insane.
It's not even a comparison.
It's not a comparison because you don't know how to compare properly. You dodged of comparing Helldivers, and then you coped, and then you went to something else. Then you shifted something that was out way away, window exclusive, and then put out there later. As like the PC user base wants to sit there and play Spider-Man when they want games day and date day one. Unbelievable deception right here.
Additive market. It's an additive market, and Herman Holtz told the shareholders, we do a dual approach. The reason we put games over there later is because we're hoping we can coax them to come over here.
The guy that got demoted from his position that said bullshit like that everybody knows is a stupid statement. See, he's just regurgitating. He's being a Sony puppet. That's what I have to say about this. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Sorry, had to roast him here. Dude ain't ready. Come challenge me, I dare you. Because you ain't going to be able to challenge this. There's nothing to say. I laid it out all in front of you perfectly from the sunlight. There's nothing you can do about it, bro. Stay. Peace, y'all. Stay true and genuine. And know how to compare properly. Don't be a fanboy. Be genuine, no matter where things are at. This is what happens when you're a fanboy.